amazing. Look, she's the queen of pop. You know her as Dr. Pimple Popper or Dr. Sandra Lee. I mean, okay, queen of pop, what are you doing? I love you.
Yes. By the way, I actually applied for that trademark, and I got a cease and desist from the Michael Jackson estate because of the. But I mean, like, I should frame that, right?
Okay, but wait, he was the king of pop. So what?
Yeah, but they're saying it's too close. But it's okay. It has to do with, I'm not making any music. Okay, I'm not writing any music, so it's all right.
Oh my God, can't they give you one in skin and human?
We figured it out. But yes.
Look, I was just saying to you, it is amazing. What are you on, your 6th or 7th season? You've been on television a long time.
Yes, I did. And I did like the doctors, and I did a lot of like visiting dermatologists for TV, which is where I got my practice before then. So I think I started in 2014 or something. Like I was thinking to myself, sometimes when I see some of my old footage, I'm like, God, I was a baby. I was such a little baby. It ages you fast. It's actually hard to see that, when you look back and I imagine a lot of actors, like they look back and they're like, oh my gosh, look at how much younger I was back there and skinnier and everything,
I know. Isn't it hard to watch your favorite actors and actresses age? Like I look at Brad Pitt, right? I think back even him and Thelma and Louise, and now you look at him and you're like, he's aging well, but not well.
We're with them. We're there too, and we're probably not doing as well. Yeah,
exactly. I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay, obviously everyone knows you by now, and you started with your YouTube channel, but I have to wonder, because you're so made for television. In the back of your mind years ago, did you always want to be on TV?
I didn't know that I was made for television, so to speak. I mean, I don't think, I don't know. I never really thought necessarily, other than, I guess when I wanted to do it, I was very motivated to do it when I was, getting little things on the doctors, like a guest, speak, like for little talk shows and things like that. So I was really motivated, and being close to Los Angeles, it was really more simple for me to do that. And it just built from there. I don't know. I think that's really where I got my practice. So I certainly couldn't have stepped in, I think, naturally to do this show and really been able to, you have to learn like little angles and, how you talk to people, but things like that. There's like little tricks that go with it. And so, it just happened to be a path. But I mean, I love it in most ways, but it is really weird too. I guess I never went into it. Some people go into this sort of thing to be famous.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And that's just solely what they're doing. And so it's like I'm still not really totally comfortable with that. It's very weird to me that people recognize me, and it's just like an awkward thing for me, and I have to get over that because I don't want to come off as like being mean. It's not that. It's that it's just so weird that somebody would think that they want to meet me or that kind of thing. So
I know that part. Yeah, I'm sure it takes a lot of time to get used to. But you are a natural, because you have to have a great personality. You have to be empathetic. Plus, obviously, you're a legit doctor, so that's so many things, to connect with your patients.
Probably the talent that I feel like I have is that I can be a friend to somebody, like they trust me, yet I can also go back to my doctor. I can become like a girlfriend or, just a friend, and also then like go into doctor mode. I can switch back and forth. And so I can sound like I'm like, know what I'm talking about, but then, ask my husband, he'll tell you that I don't know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean?
Well,
that kind of thing.
I can't wait to ask you about that too, because you've been married now, 20 plus years? I mean, that's also amazing. You're a public figure.
Really?
It's hard to stay married.
Yes, you're right. No, exactly. Especially since I'm working with him. We see each other every day at work, that kind of thing. But yes. Well, the secret to that is because we don't work for each other. Like I don't have to answer to him. He doesn't have to answer to me. And you trust each other and your opinions.
I mean, look, we're going to get into that. But I wanted to ask you this. I was always curious, because your show has been a hit. You're on every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Your social media is insane. 12 million followers on TikTok.
Yes. That just happened during the pandemic too. It's just been a little over a year. Like TikTok has blown up, and I'm very addicted to TikTok, just like
me too.
I am deep into it. Deep in.
Okay, well, aside from, obviously your own content, what do you watch? What do you get addicted to?
I don't watch other pimple popping content. I don't watch, but I never really have. But I definitely have learned a lot of hacks you know? And then there's always like dances that I save or things that I save that are really cute. And, but we all know it's a lot easier to watch TikTok than to actually create one. Hours later, you emerge and maybe you have something that's somewhat decent. You know what I mean? It's really a hard, and I think that's part of what is the allure of it. That's like part of why people like it too, because it's not that easy. And so, you have to get good at it. There's a talent there.
I was curious, before TLC picked up your show, were any other networks ever courting you? Because, again, I just think you have just the perfect TV combo. So were you almost so close to being on somewhere else?
Well, I mean, I had a lot of production companies kind of courting me more so, like that kind of thing. So, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know who they submitted to necessarily, or you know what I mean? But I do think that TLC is like the perfect match because, it's something that's sort of, what's so interesting about this show is that I feel like some people don't give it a chance because on the outside, it might look like something really salacious or crazy or ridiculous. But if they just watched it, I mean, a lot of people do. Obviously, they gave it a chance and they watched it. But the people who are sort of a naysayer, maybe, or they'll be like, oh my God, that's disgusting. Like, why would you even? It's because they haven't watched it. It is such a wonderful feel good thing. Like it makes you feel good about humanity and just, you know what I mean? And it's real life. It's not like we're trying to do anything. These are real people. These are real stories. It's not like we're making something up.
I know. I mean, I'm obsessed with all their programming, which is why I was so excited to have you on because I watch all their shows. But here, you know what I've always been curious? I'm sure you've been asked this, but it's almost like with your patients, and I know it's kind of television too, but why do they wait to let these things get so big? Is it insurance reasons? Is it embarrassment? But I mean, by the time they come in, they have a basketball on their back. You're like, okay, this ingrown hair is... We could have done this.
It's interesting because I think you can kind of group people into different categories. The people that are optimists, the people that are pessimists, people who the moment they have one little growth on them, they're going to see the doctor. And the other group, which I'm probably in more so like, oh, maybe tomorrow that'll go away. Like that kind of thing. There's a little bit of denial. There's a little bit of like, it's a big deal to go see a doctor. You have to book out the time. You have to make the appointment. You have to make sure you have the money, that you have the time and, the distance, and life gets busy. So I get it. And that is a big thing. I think that, makes the show or makes people willing to certainly see us is that we don't judge people for that. That's really important because I get it. Life gets in the way. And also there's a big fear in a lot of people of doctors, and they're just afraid of just going there or hearing bad news maybe, or, there's so many reasons. So I would never fault somebody. And sometimes you just wake up one day and it's gotten away from you. I know that sounds crazy, but yeah, you wake up and you realize, oh my gosh, this is beyond. What am I going to do now? And then you just wait another day and another day goes by. So
I know. Well, no, you're wonderful and you're very empathetic. I mean, it's for all of us to be watching to judge, unfortunately.
And it's fine. We get it. I mean, we get it. I get that question all the time. I get it. And I say it to myself too, but I just don't say it to the patient because I understand also.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, there are so many complexities with, and it's so wild. I wish people trusted doctors more because now you guys have the most amazing drugs. It's like going to the dentist. They give you like triple Novocaine. You're like, you don't feel a damn thing. It's like, I know you're loading them up with, they don't feel anything but the pressure of you like pushing out the stuff.
Well, what's really nice, I think, about the show is that it does highlight dermatology. And I think people don't realize there's so many things that we can do under local anesthesia. It's just become this thing where, and there's a lot that we can get into with this. This has to do with like money and like, hospitals and getting more insurance payment and reimbursement and things like that. But things can be done. We're not doing things in the back alley. These are all done in a very sterile, clean environment, but these can be done in fact, more safely in many ways under local anesthesia. And so as a dermatologist, I think we are probably better in general at relating and connecting with our patients because we have to. They're awake, like we have to be able to talk to somebody and make sure they trust me while they're lying naked on a table, while I'm holding sharp objects over them. You have to make sure that they feel relaxed, and that's all part of it.
I think I had actually read something where, even though your show is around, pimple popping and cysts and blackheads and everything that kind of develops, I'd actually read that like your entire practice, it's a very small portion for dermatologists that actually do cysts. And Is
Oh,
that
yeah.
right? Like it's
Absolutely. I would have to say before all this happened, I maybe removed a cyst like a few times a year and I avoided it. Because they're messy. They're like, now that I've sort of been not really forced, but I'm doing a lot of them. I am like the expert at cysts. I know how to read them. But before then, I didn't really do them that often because they're not medically necessary. It's not medically just that's why I think I get to see all these cases and that is another reason that people hold off is they'll see their doctor and they'll go, don't worry about that. That's just a lipoma. I get that it's the size of grapefruit fruit, but you don't have to worry about it. I mean,
really
it's just
that's
yeah.
wild.
So, it's complicated. It's complicated. And it's sort of like, I guess I found this little pimple popping niche, like that it's sort of this untouched area of people that don't get these things done. I'm sure that a lot of dermatologists do more cysts now. I'm sorry to all of them because of me, because their patients come and they go, well, why aren't you doing this? Like Dr. Pimple Popper does this. I'm sure, I know they get that actually. But, it's part of showing what we do too. I think hopefully I'm helping to elevate dermatology in the specialty so they know we're not just pimple poppers. But yes, it is a small part of what we do. I mean, it is our textbooks are huge and there's just so many different skin conditions, skin, diseases and things like, we deal with the hair, the skin and the nails. So
Wow.
we're experts in that whole huge category, and cysts are just things that pop out of the skin are just a small portion of that.
I know you don't watch other people's,
Mm-hmm.
cyst removal videos. Does it weird you out? You have the popaholics, these people that are addicted to all of it. Does it weird you out though now on your TikTok where people equate it to food? They're like, oh, this is like custard.
You do. No, I do.
Yes, I've heard you do that on the show.
It's because it's the part for two reasons. I mean, partly because that's the only thing you can equate. I mean, all these things are organic. They look like food, like food, I suppose, other than because it's not like it looks like plastic or something like that, right? And then the other thing is to make it lighthearted too, to make sure people are a little bit relaxed. Now, so it doesn't bother me. And I can talk. It's funny because I tell people this often is that I can look at a cyst and pop it out and go, oh my gosh, this looks like egg salad. And then go, oh, I'm having egg salad at lunch. I'm so excited because I do really like egg salad. But on the other hand, if you give me a cyst that looks really realistically like a cyst, if you give me a cupcake that looks realistically like a cyst, I have a lot of trouble eating that. Like I have to close my eyes or smush it up so it doesn't look like, because it's the opposite. I can't cook chicken at home, raw chicken without wearing gloves. Like I can't.
Oh,
so it's like, it's the opposite. It's more that these things, if something reminds me of what I do at work, that would be weird. I could never eat that, but like I can say that something looks like food and have it not bother me.
As the show has gotten more popular, has it been harder to cast people or easier?
I don't actually know. I would have to ask casting, because they send me things, but I would have to think probably easier and harder. I think that there's a point where people hear about you. So they decide to, they think that they think that you could be the only one that can help them, or they know they don't have the money and they're going to want to see if that you can help them. But on the other hand, I don't know. There's going to be a limit someday, I guess. I don't know how many people are out there. There's a limited number, but
yeah, with huge basketballs.
We are still having wonderful patients, and we're always outdoing ourselves too. So it's always crazy.
And I had read online, do you take like regular patients? I'd actually read like for $120, people can book a consultation. Are you?
Oh, yes, I see patients. Yes, I definitely see patients. I have to. This is I have a practice, and I also have to keep myself in shape. It's like you're training too, right? Yeah. Training for the show. But it's real life. I'm a dermatologist. I don't work 5 days a week like I used to, but I definitely work, and there's a lot of things I do in my practice that other people don't do. Like I do Mohs surgery, which is skin cancer surgery. And, I do more of the cosmetic surgery, things like liposuction and eye lifts and things like that. So there's things that I do specifically within my practice. So that's the hard thing actually.
Over the years, who stuck out for you as some significant guests? Because there's some for me. I mean, the guy that had the third testicle, like that was like unbelievable. Like I
We
love.
have another one like that. We have a couple like that coming up. We're about to tape tomorrow. So this is like a big deal for me, actually, because it's been a long break. We're starting a new season. And so it's like my mind is all like, we're all focusing in on that. But I mean, every season there's somebody. Like I can tell you the standout from every season. And the season going on right now is Roger, the one with the rhinophyma. Did you see him with the big like grapefruits kind of hanging from his nose? So he is definitely the breakout star in my mind from the show. But every time, what's so nice about the show, when I watch it back for first time on TV too, like with everybody else, I don't really see the backstory. Like I'm a part of it, you don't really see where they live or how they have to deal with this on a day by day basis. So it's nice for me. Sometimes that also, there are people that definitely like have even a more special place in my heart after I see that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember. I didn't realize this about him, that kind of thing. So,
I'm sure. Yeah. You get so invested in their stories. And so many people, on your show, very vulnerable. And they, I remember years ago too, an episode, there was a guy that had like a big growth and he would always like put a towel over it to try to conceal. Like,
and I don't know if you're talking about Leonard too, with the extra, he had like the extra appendage. I don't think that was him, but like, I know the very first, that was the pilot show. Yeah. He had put on the back of his, yes. And he got that removed. Yes. That was like a big lymphangioma.
Yeah.
That was stressful too, because like I didn't know what that was. And that wasn't something to pop. It was something different. So there's so many. There's just certainly somebody that really stands out every season. And they're all special to me. But it is weird that you start to forget them too, because there's so many pops that go on. Yeah.
So many stories. All right. Now let's transition from the vagina to the face,
Okay.
We'll go from one to the other.
Yes.
So you obviously have beautiful skin. Tell me the truth about skincare though, because, I've kind of gotten jaded over the years that you really need to be seeing a you if you really want to look youthful. And not only that, but I had a dermatologist tell me a couple years ago, and I didn't realize this, you actually need a skincare routine for different seasons if you live in a climate changing place. I'm East Coast, right? So you have winter skin, you have summer skin. So you're like, oh my God, I got to buy all these products. And the reality is I really need to be doing laser treatments, peels, and Botox if I really want to stay youthful. Is that true or not?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, look, I will tell you, this is the truth, and not a money people. It has to do with my history or experience in dermatology. There are people that come in that are 60 or 70 or 80 years old and they look fabulous. Their skin is beautiful. And they say, oh, it's because I was using Pond's cold cream my whole life, and you can have the opposite spectrum. And I will tell you, so much of this has to do with genetics. Yeah. So much has to do with what skin you inherited. And some people are just blessed, just like some people are naturally skinny, they can eat whatever they want. Some people are just blessed with beautiful skin in general. Now, can you do things to help improve your skin in many ways? Yes, like sunscreen, like using retinol, retin-A, like getting, laser treatments and peels and things like that. They make you feel better too. Surgery certainly can change things because they actually physically change things. But I mean, it has a lot to do with how, like we say, Asians don't raisin, or like, things like that. Like there's things that you have, that some of us, we all have our things that we all have advantages and disadvantages that are natural.
I know.
So it's more like I try to be very positive with people. I tell them, look, if they're depressed about like their jowls, they go away when you smile, things like that. Like, so you just try to, make the best of what you have. But do I think like, for example, Botox and things like that can make a difference? Yes, because Botox specifically, in fact, because it helps you prevent you from having lines that can be created, because lines are created from gravity and also expression, because you're always frowning, then you can have a frown line that stays. So you can change things in that way.
Oh my God. I love that. Thank you for being, honest. And, for us white people, I mean, we crack immediately. So, there's just no hope, I mean,
Well, you keep us in business. You guys keep us in business, not you specifically. Yeah.
Oh, well, please. I love all the treatments. I do. I wish I lived closer. When I moved to Los Angeles, I'm coming in to see you. I mean, are you kidding?
And I would have to say, like, if things make you feel great, that's what you should be doing, So that's what I tell patients. Sometimes they'll like swear by a product that I don't think scientifically that actually does anything, but hey, if they love it and it makes them feel good, that's the whole point of it.
So you've been married for 20 years.
Yes.
You say the secret to your marriage is you and your husband don't like work for each other, but he must be obviously a very supportive person. He's not jealous of your fame.
No, I don't think so, because I don't think he's like the puppet master. I think he loves it. He's like in the ideal position. He just watches what goes on and then just hangs out and gets all the positives from it. He doesn't actually have to do the work. So, I mean, I think that's the wonderful thing. And he just really helps to balance me, I remember once I was complaining because, we as women, you're a mom too. Like there's a lot of things that we have going on, like I feel like more responsibilities than the average male in general, I would say. I'm going to just step out and say that. So like,
Yes.
That's the tough thing. I have multiple jobs, and, I was complaining about how I have this new job and like, now this television and all this stuff going on with it. And he's like, you're so lucky that you get to pivot and do what you love, like what what you're trained, like your specialized training to do, but use it in a different way that is kind of new and exciting and different. And you don't have to do body exams for the rest of your life. You're not sitting in there bringing somebody in and doing a full body exam. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like it's fun. It's exciting. It's stressful, but that's what life is about, too. So
do you have you won an Emmy for all this? I mean, you really should win an Emmy.
I'm waiting for that.
I was going to say.
I won 3 Critics' Choice Awards. Fan favorite. Yes, but Emmy people, we're looking for one. I'm hoping it will. It's just like I think that the show has this sort of like, this aspect of it that might kind of be, like prim and proper. It's not like so prim and proper. It's a little bit more edgy in that way,
Like, you're so fun. I mean, you're removing egg salad from our bodies every day.
Yes.
For God's sakes,
I don't think I would be able to advertise it that way if I'm going to try to for your consideration for that. I don't think I can go egg salad for everybody. I should just serve at like the thing, like all these different things that remind me of pimple popping.
It's like Shark Tank when they bring out the samples. You can bring out the egg salad for the Emmy team.
Yes.
The Emmy.
Right.
Okay, wait. I have one last question for you. You started back in the day your own social media. Do you? Yes. I got to imagine you don't run it now. But do you have like a video where you're like cutting open someone's cyst and you're like, okay, this is going to be TikTok gold. Like, I want the social team to do this. Who does it now?
That happens all the time. I actually do most of my TikTok. I'm because I have to find ways that it's like it gets a little bit too much and it gets overwhelming, and then you rejuvenate it. And the fact that TikTok has been growing quickly gets me motivated to do it and learn about it. And so it's fun for me to do my TikTok. I don't do so much of my other social media platforms, but they all kind of bounce off of each other. And we have a whole team because I have a skincare line too. And so that is all tied in to it too, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's like a whole thing over here.
What is by the way, promote your skincare line, because I know it's exceptional.
Yeah, it's at Target too, nationwide, SLMD Skincare. So yes, it's really acne and like pimple popping and acne system, which makes sense. But it's sort of a medical baseline. Like have you heard of keratosis pilaris?
No,
it's
tell me.
Bumps that people get on their arms, that get the noticeable little, almost like your hair follicles, but you feel it and you see it. And a lot of people hate it. That's another, I'm trying to give people products that we know work as a dermatologist, but like a lot of people can't see their dermatologist. So they're all obviously already learning things, watching my show or my social media. We kind of trick people into educating them because they're being entertained at the same time. And then, I think the natural follow-up is really because people were asking me questions about what they can do for their skin. So I'm just trying to provide products that we know help These are things that we recommend as dermatologists.
Okay, last question. What's going to be the hot treatment of 2021? Because every year, there's like vampire facial.
Oh, yes. I don't know. I haven't thought of that yet right now. There's always something. Like just last year came out the cellulite treatment. Like there was an injectable called Quo. What else is coming out now? Like I'm talking more about like dermatology, like treatments.
Yeah.
That's a tough question right now because I'm sure like right after we get off, I'll be like, oh, I should have talked about this. Like last year, there's a lot of like a micro stamp or micro pens. And, that was like, has been big. I think that Quo, which is that injectable it's an injectable to help to soften up the cellulite or the dimpling,
Okay.
There's always something new coming out and cause it's a big business. It's a big business. Yeah.
Look, we're all trying to look 25 while we're headed to 50.
Yes.
That's the truth.
True.
Dr. Pimple Popper, your show is on TLC. It's on Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. We adore you. Thank you so much for being on. Thank you for helping me with my vagina acne and the world.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Yes. I'll send you some stuff. Yes.
Send me the goodies. All right. Love you. Thank you for being on.
Thank you. Love you too. Have a great day, everybody.
You too.